One of the big question marks that hangs out there is what happens to the industries that are truly the tip of the spear of this economic crisis. And of course, talking about things like hospitality and hotels, but also airlines, and lots of talk about whether they will need a bailout and how much cash they have left. More headlines every day about them doing everything they can to conserve every dollar. What do you see as the fate of publicly traded airlines?
Well, I mean, look, the publicly traded airlines, there's going to be a big political debate here. And that is that over the last 10 years, in the wake of the great financial crisis, airlines have purchased back $45 billion worth of stock. Today, they're asking for approximately $50 billion worth of aid to bail them out. I think that is a political nightmare. The people who thought that the bailout of the big companies was bad in the financial crisis are going to look at this and say, why don't we let these people just go bankrupt? The reality is, in bankruptcy, Chapter 11, reorganization, airlines continue to operate. It's not like people aren't going to be able to fly their destinations. But, you know, I am an avowed capitalist, and you know, there are situations where you have to allow the people that are getting the return for the risk actually bear the risk and not have the government bailing them out.
So, Scott, though, I mean, just to follow up on that point here, I mean, part of the concern here is that with certain industries, they're so interconnected with the rest of the economy. And so if you allow that risk to bear itself out in the extreme that this could potentially occur, does that not then hurt industries maybe that are adjacent to the airlines that maybe, I guess, for lack of a better word, deserve it?
Well, you know, Romaine, that's a great question, and it's the question of moral hazard, you know, which has been building ever since the 1930s within the financial system. You know, I spoke with Treasury yesterday, and the Office of Management and Budget, and my recommendation to them was, if we really felt that an industry or a company like Boeing is so essential to the U.S. economy, then, you know, loan guarantees, you know, could be offered, but the borrowers should pay a fee to get them. They should pay the same thing you would pay if you were getting a letter of credit from a commercial bank. And in addition to that, they should get the government should get warrants on the stock, you know, 20% of the company. I mean, let's face it, we're asking the U.S. government to stand in the position of being a distressed investor. They need to think of it that way, and they need to build transactions which, you know, actually give upside participation to the taxpayers who are bearing the burden of this crisis.